Why am I getting no engagement on Facebook anymore? How do I go and reach my audience? Why is it becoming so hard?
Have we got Mark on speedphone here?
Facebook's monetised. When they floated, obviously everybody now has to pay to play. To answer that,
people fed up, do you think?
I think a lot of people originally felt betrayed. They'd worked really hard to build up their audience. They might have paid to get the likes and the followers, as well as all the effort they put in to grow that. Now they've actually got to pay to reach them. Look, it's like any medium, isn't it? TV advertising is not cheap. The networks used to have the audience, and you'd pay to get in front of that audience. Now it's that's sort of flipped around, and it's. I've got to say, agencies are finding the audience. We've got a huge selection of specific audiences for some of our clients that we developed over a couple of months, over the last year, say. But Facebook is now is all about investing money into itself, and so you're lucky to get 2%, 2 to 3%. Some of our best clients that have got 100,000 followers, say on Facebook, are lucky to get 15 to 20% organic reach. That's phenomenal considering that the industry average is about 2%. But that's basically why. So again, you've got to come up with clever content, build yourself a social media calendar so that you're planning out each month what your content's going to be, and so you're not just putting things out there willy-nilly to see how they're going, and then you can come back and see which ones are performing, and then repeat that the next month and the next month. And by all means, don't be afraid to boost some posts or to set up some posts as Facebook ads. Even putting 10, 20.
Well, that's where the digital strategy comes in, isn't it? Because most people wouldn't know what boosting an ad was or what was involved in that.
Yeah.
I know we didn't when we started doing it. So those are some of the benefits of going to a specialist agency such as yourselves, where they can give you that information.
And you just made me think of a point as well. So we've had clients where we've posted things on Facebook for them, and the engagement with the post has been very, very low. No one's liked it, no one's commented, or very few people have liked it or commented. But when we've looked at the back end in Google Analytics to see what the website traffic has been like, we've seen, I won't say huge spike, but we've seen a lot of activity where people have not necessarily engaged with the post, but they've clicked on it and gone through to the website. So you've got to be looking at all of these angles, or all of the data rather, to really see what's working for you. Just because it didn't work on social media doesn't mean people haven't then gone and Googled it and come through on your website a different way.
And you don't have to use everything either, do you? I mean, there's Pinterest, there's Instagram, there's Twitter. I mean, we talked about Facebook and LinkedIn a lot from a business perspective. Not all companies benefit from those three, or doing anything with those three. So, I mean, you don't have to be everywhere, do you?
No, definitely not. Obviously, Facebook's the number one player in Australia. They've got over 14 million active users, which is huge considering the population's 22, 23 million. So Facebook's definitely a key component in regards to building that community, getting that brand tone and message out there. Twitter, not as big in Australia, huge in the US.
If you're a celebrity.
Celebrity, for sure, which we're not.
Celebrity endorsements, I guess they do well with it.
The great thing about Twitter is, from a social listening point of view, being able to monitor and see what people are talking about. So trending hashtags, what they're saying about your brand. You might be able to find brand advocates out there who you never knew about. So from a market insight point of view, it's always on, it's live, it's a public forum. So it can be fantastic in regards to getting some really good business insights to develop strategy moving forward. Instagram's fast approaching and growing. I think there's over 5 million active users now in Australia. Third, maybe fourth biggest platform or social network in Australia. So it's growing really quickly, and we know that they've just released their new ads API recently. So it'll be interesting to see the trend with Instagram and how that goes.
Especially for millennials, and the fact that it's a very visual medium as well, which leads to sort of a more a richer demographic in terms of from an advertising point of view. Those people have got wallets that they're happy to open and go and
no
spend.
second chances though, are there? I mean, if there's a mistake made, it's really blindingly obvious, and very often there's really no staff policy about what people can and cannot say.
I think a lot, we had a client the other week who rang us. There was an incident with some of their equipment, or one of their products, and luckily it didn't go mainstream. But if it had have gone mainstream, certainly it would have been
disastrous.
It would have been disastrous. It would have been a big crisis.
For sure.
Yeah.
What is display retargeting and how does that work? Because you hear a lot about retargeting. How does that work?
It's quite simple. So what we do is we'll place a cookie or a pixel on the back end of someone's website. Anyone who comes through to the website, they'll get remarketed to, or the pixel will be placed onto their IP. And so then when they go off and start searching for other items through the Google Display Network, or they'll go to news.com.au, they'll get retargeted to from that particular website.
Okay, so I get a lot of that on my laptop when obviously get retargeted everywhere, but
Yep.
I'm almost at the point now finding that I struggle to find the actual article I'm reading in amongst all the ads that are, down the sides. They're now cutting into the actual posts themselves.
Sure.
It's becoming very, very annoying.
Yeah, if it's done effectively, it can be really, really powerful. We find that sort of 1 to 2% of conversions will take place on that initial website view. So there's 98% of people who will bounce and they'll continue shopping. So if you can come back to them with an offer, maybe it's a gift with purchase, maybe it's free shipping, maybe it's 10% off if we're talking about an e-commerce site here. All of a sudden there's that extra little carrot to be able to drive them back into the funnel. So if we can get them back in there, we can increase your conversion rate from 2 to 4%. You've just doubled your business, and it's still only 4% of total traffic. So it can be very powerful, but like you said, it needs to be contextual. It needs to have not just the same ad creative, it needs to be different. It needs to know, hey, I know Karen was on this site and now I'm going to remarket to you with something a little bit different. Okay,
now last but not least, data and insights. Those two words get thrown around a lot. You mentioned reporting earlier on, and I guess the digital space it was fabulous when it came into being, because for the first time you could really, really look at exactly what the results were as opposed to putting an ad on TV. So what expectations should a client have on being able to track and monitor and be able to see what results they're getting?
Again, we've gone to some clients where they hadn't even looked at their website traffic, for instance, and over a period of a year, their website traffic may have dropped off by 30%. That's obviously having a much larger impact throughout the whole business as well. So we've then gone, and I guess what we try and do is we try and draw the sort of the key piece of data out of everything that goes on. So, okay, how many visits have you had through this month? What are the pages that people are going to? What's the dwell time on those visits? Is it going up? Is it going down? Are people engaging more or longer with your brand? Are they converting? What's the whole customer journey looking like through your site? Once they get to your shopping cart, are they putting something in, realizing it's too hard to make the transaction and then just turning around and leaving? Every client's different in terms of what data they need, but what we do is we just try and pull those main pieces out so that we can sit down with them on a monthly review, say, or a fortnightly review, and just go through sort of the key things that will indicate how their advertising campaign's going and how business from a web point of view is going in general. But data, we're probably guilty of getting a little bit too involved in some of the data because it's just a wash with it. But what we do is we just provide a headline report, and then if need be, then people can sort of dive down a little bit deeper.
I think what's key with the data is that there's so much of it out there. It's available, readily available. Google Analytics is a great tool, which is free to everyone, and then there's additional tools that you can pay for. But it's understanding that data. It's how to use that data to develop recommendations and strategy back to the client and best practices moving forward. We get lost in the sea of data sometimes, and probably wearable technology is a perfect example. Everyone's wearing Fitbits and Garmin's, and there's a plethora of different brands out there, and provides you beautiful dashboards, but what does that actually mean? Okay, it's telling me I'll walk 10,000 steps today, great, but I want to lose 10 kilos, how do I do that?
Yeah.
So it's about bringing in that advice to say you're heading the right path, these are the recommendations that you need to do to be able to achieve that goal. And I think having a digital agency or a digital marketing manager who specialises in understanding that data and can lead you down that right path is key.
And
otherwise you can get lost.
Interpret it into a business sense, taking that from the numbers, and what do we do with it now that we've got those insights?
And even from a social media perspective, so Galen, there's from a Facebook point of view, even if you're not driving people to a website to purchase a product or register for an event or download a free ebook, just the insights that you can learn from Facebook, the demographics, the age, their interests, their locations, marital status.
Terrifying.
It's terrifying. There's so much information there, which is so powerful, because that information can then help with new product development, can help with your 3-year business plan. And that's the type of data that you don't get from traditional mediums. You're not getting that from magazines, you're not getting that from TV, radio, outdoor or print. So that's why, you know, we love digital and social media, and I think it's so powerful. We can see so many more businesses investing in. I think in 2014 was the first year that online advertising surpassed TV advertising in Australia. So we know that trend's heading that way, and like Simon said, it's about 15% growth year on year.
Okay, well, Ben, Simon, thank you very much for coming in.
Thanks,
And I know that it's made an enormous difference to my business by making sure I have a digital strategy and going outside the company to get the expert advice that I need. And it's not as expensive as you might think, and you've got to decide what cost it's going to be to you if you don't have it. So I'd encourage you all to go out there and explore it a little bit more. I hope you found this useful. Thank you, and we'll see you next time.